How you doing, guys? It's Alessandro here from Spicymoustache with some new tips in order to help you creating your own green area, indoor or outdoor, following the principle of do as nature does. Since I started gardening, I've been trying to find ways to reduce the amount of weeds growing and infesting pots and raised beds. As gardeners, nearly everything that we didn't deliberately planted is potentially a weed and we would need to remove it. But what if many of those plants were edible and tasted great too? That would mean bonus harvest and even more flavor to the table. However, most people are worried about picking up and consuming wild food because it's really easy to get confused and pick up something toxic. So dig up that like button, and today I'll show you all you need to know to start foraging your own wild food. So the first thing that we need to identify is the meaning of the word foraging. Foraging is the act of searching, identifying and collecting food resources in the wild. Those include a wide range of plants, mushrooms, herbs and fruit that are growing around us uncultivated. Everything could be found in a supermarket nowadays, so people don't really get the chance to learn how the food is grown and where it comes from. Foraging for wild food have increased in popularity in the last few years, becoming trendy for some and a complete lifestyle for others. For many of us, foraging has been part of our life since childhood. Unfortunately, knowledge has been lost in a large part of our society. One of the most enjoyable things about foraging is the way it compels a greater awareness of one's surrounding. The need to slow down, pause and look. Many different people are rediscovering this missing link with nature and the greater benefits that foraging could have in our life. Before deciding to take up foraging, it is important to acknowledge a few safety considerations. Firstly, it may sound obvious, but do not eat anything that you can't identify with reasonable certainty. There are many edible wild foods around us, but at the same time, there are many food that could be poisonous or toxic if accidentally ingested. Also bear in mind that wild food could be polluted by human activity, like from industry or busy roads, so try to keep away from all these polluted areas. Another safety tip before starting foraging is to make sure that the area has not been sprayed with any chemical or herbicide. I'm based in London and is considered one of the greenest cities in the world. You can find a list of areas that you can forage in London attached to the description of this video, and I will also add some books that is gonna help you to improve your skills. Today I had the great chance to meet up with John, who has been foraging food for his whole life, and he will teach us how to recognize and pick up the right herbs and fruit.
Hi, my name's John the Poacher and I make a living in and around Hackney foraging. I run foraging walks and I supply pubs, restaurants, cheesemakers, chocolate makers, breweries, soda companies, and if anyone wants to come out and learn a bit, look me up on Instagram. Right, so this is the giant magnolia, and like all magnolia flowers, they're all edible and they taste like ginger and cardamom, so you can use them for pickling, syrups, covering chocolate, or just tasting as they are. So, and this is a fig. So we have three types of fig. We have the white, the red and the black. The red and the black both produce decent edible figs. The white one doesn't. But the little known thing is, what I get asked for most is for the fig leaves. Apart from hiding your modesty, they're good for making ice cream and liqueurs, and they have a coconutty flavour to them. So all the pubs and restaurants and cocktail guys go mental for it. With anything that you're picking leaves and stuff off of trees, the best way to pick is always to take the stem and then go towards the trunk, because that's the easiest way to snap them off. If you try it the other way, it's really hard because it's used to blowing in the wind. Okay, so this is a ginkgo biloba, or maiden hair tree for the commoner. It's a prehistoric type of tree, has horrible stinky fruit that has a nut in it that you can eat for higher brain function, but personally I like the leaves because they're really citrusy and they go really well in salads, and you do find these all over the place. So this is a black walnut tree, which they don't produce the best nuts. So what we generally do is we take the nuts off early and then use them for doing pickled walnuts or the liqueur Nico. With the common walnut, when they're ready, the husk will split and kick a nice clean nut out. But with these ones, they're best for pickled walnuts. Cut through that, so that would be the nut here, and then this would have been this is the shell. But because it hasn't formed and hasn't gone hard, this is the stage where you want to take them for doing pickled walnuts or the liqueur Nico. So the tree behind me is a massive bay tree. So it's an old variety, it's a sweet bay. So we use it for all our picklings and cooking all our meals and stuff, but also really good for infusing in milk, for doing custards or rice puddings or ice creams. This is pineapple weed, a member of the calamar family, and this loves to grow near like well-trodden paths and stuff, and especially like kids' play areas. It's got a beautiful sort of pineapple-y smell to it. Use it for making cordials, spirits, cocktails. I'm planning on using this with fig leaves to get the coconut flavour from the fig leaves, and this to try and make a pina colada ice cream. When you're picking mushrooms in parks and stuff, this is one that you'll come across quite readily. It looks like a field mushroom, but it's called a yellow stainer. And what you do is when you find them, you rub the top and you'll see it stain yellow. And it's the one that's most responsible for mushroom poisonings. It affects 1 in 3 people. So with these, we don't take, we get rid of these. Then if you've got lovely parks like I have in around Hackney and stuff, and you get all the logs that have been left, you get these lovely oyster mushrooms growing at different times of the year when we get some moisture. So saves going to the supermarket, we just come out here and harvest. See, this is one of the other lovely things about foraging in and around London and Hackney especially, is you can go to a lot of your local parks and there's loads of wild plums all over the place, as you can see above me. These are still a little bit green, but some of the other trees have already gone ripe, and they're great for doing your jams, liqueurs. I'll be making a beer with some of them, or you can just eat them as they are.
Foraging, after all, it's about more than just trying to find a bit of free food. It's about making a connection with the wild world, reminding us that all food begins by growing things nurtured by soil, sunlight and water. There is a lot to learn about foraging, but it's easy to get started to find food for free. So why not to begin by taking a stroll around your neighborhood, even in a city, and you will be amazed by the amount of food that you could potentially find. I hope you liked today's video, and if so, please subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification setting so you can be notified every time I post a new video, and I'll see you next Friday for a new episode. Thank you so much for watching. See ya!